Welcome again. I'm always excited, always excited to have you here. As you know, my name is Fiifi-Manfred. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I'm grateful, very grateful. I consistently say this that this channel will not be where it is now without you. I'm grateful for your support, for you choosing this brand, choosing this channel. I'm grateful for you. If you've not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe. And then, of course, turn on notification bell and then do choose all. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Something bothers my mind. Why do Manchester United fail to control games? Like, Manchester United tend to fail to control games a lot of the times. I don't know why. And I keep on asking myself, why is this so? And tactically, I want to look at this here. And people are calling for the head of Robert Sanchez. But see, I disagree. I think that Robert Sanchez may be one of Chelsea's smartest signings in recent times. I'll tell you about all of that in this analysis. Do not go away. Real Madrid, I did mention that Jude Bellingham is not a striker. And the job he does for the team is not sustainable against teams like Sevilla, who are poised to make things compact and difficult for you, and coaches like Diego Alonso. You need more than just a Jude Bellingham that pops up in the box to get a goal for you. There are times where it's going to be difficult. Again, that's why I'm here. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. I'll be with you in a second. So, Erik Ten Hag has taken over this Manchester United team. This is second full season. And it's a time where almost everybody would hope that at this time, Manchester United will have some semblance of control in games, right? Also, the season where they've bought some players that he wanted. So they've had Mason Mount, they've had Tyrell Malaysia, they've had Leandro Martinez, they have Rasmus Højlund. They've had some good players. I don't think that the transfer business of Manchester United has been bad, in my opinion. I think it has been good, actually. But United consistently fail to control games. They are bottom of their group in the Champions League. They are mid-table in the English Premier League. It is worrying. How is Manchester United mid-table in the English Premier League and bottom of their group in the Champions League? These are facts and these are worrying signs for Manchester United. And you begin to ask yourself, what is wrong with Erik Ten Hag? In fact, I think the problems became much more apparent when yesterday Manchester United played against Sheffield United at home at the Bram Lane, where a team that averagely has about 36% of possession, Manchester United played against them, and they United had just 46% possession in the game. That's outrageous. Again, it's that same mid-block fashion that almost everybody plays against when they meet Manchester United. Mid-block. Almost every team that realizes that they can upset United from the turnovers. Mid-block again, and United are found wanting. Now, let us start with that game that played yesterday in focus, especially with the lineup. Then we get into a lot of things. First of all, Manchester United yesterday went into the team with Andre Onana in post, Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire, Diogo Dalot, Lindelof. Then had two double pivots of Amrabat, Scott McTominay. Then up top, Anthony, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, Rasmus Højlund. Now, when United were in deep crisis in terms of injuries, you'd have said, okay, this is a regular starting lineup, which should go on. But Mason Mount was on the bench. You don't play Scott McTominay's Amrabat in the middle of the park as a double pair. Then you cannot control games. And you ask yourself, why is that you can't control games? There are solutions on the bench for Manchester United. Now, the reason why Mason Mount was bought for Manchester United is for somebody who could have a lot of passing volume, very good passing volume, and also high success rates at the passing volume that he has. Amrabat is not the one that does the passing volume for any team. That's not his stock in trade. Same for Scott McTominay. He is good at the off-the-ball job and then peppering over the cracks, moving up top, probably getting a goal, and then making things look like they are okay for Manchester United or look like a prime player. But that's not his job. These things he can't do them sustainably. So I wondered why Erik Ten Hag went into the game with Mason Mount on the bench and knew that he had somebody that could not control the game. Now, this is just basic dynamics of the game, and we'll go into the tactics proper. Manchester United in themselves. In the back line are without Tyro Malaysia, are without Luke Shaw, and they are without Leandro Martinez. In my opinion, these three players in the team improve Manchester United's build-up by a fold, because these are players that are confident enough to consistently ask for the ball when they are playing out on the back. I mean, it is by no surprise, it is by no shock that Manchester United and Andrew Onana's pass accuracy rate has reduced by 15% since the absence of these three players concurrently. So they get injured, and United can't control the game from the back. From the first phase, they can't play out on the back. It's a big deal. Onana is forced to go long, and then there's no proper outlet also when they go long, and they can't recover the second balls again. And there's trouble for Manchester United in that regard. So Tyro Malaysia, Luke Shaw, Leandro Martinez, they are players that add a lot more of control, especially at the back to Manchester United's build-up. Now, if they are in their team, in Malaysia, Luke Shaw, Leandro Martinez with Varane, and then you have Amrabat in the middle of the pack, then you have Casemiro next to him as a destroyer. So Casemiro as a destroyer, Amrabat next to him. Then you play either of Mason Mount on the right wing, right? Then you keep Mason Mount, you keep Marcus Rashford, and then you have Bruno Fernandes in there. Then you have a lot of control in terms of the pass volume, in terms of controlling the tempo in the attack, controlling of the tempo in the middle area, and then hold on to the ball and consistently choosing where to play out from and when to keep the ball. It's simple, but Manchester United failed to do these things, and Erik ten Hag, I think that he has to ask himself a lot of questions, especially from his starting lineup yesterday. But generally, what has been the issues of Manchester United? First, I'll start with Andre Onana. Onana has never been an elite shot stopper. Never in his career. He's not an elite shot stopper. He's a brilliant ball-playing goalkeeper. But see, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The game has gone beyond just goalkeepers making saves. The game essentially is about quality chance prevention, and it starts with the goalkeeper. It is the reason why teams will prioritize a ball-playing goalkeeper than just a shot stopper. It is simple. If you are lucky to have a very good ball-playing goalkeeper who is also a very good shot stopper, then you have a diamond, you have a gold. So the case of Onana, he's not really the top shot stopper in the world. He's not close to David De Gea in terms of shot stopping abilities. But Edison is not a brilliant shot stopper. Same for Alisson, not the best shot stopper around. But these guys control a lot of games, and then they prevent teams from creating quality chances against them consistently. That's why you have these guys in post. That's why Pep Guardiola will always have Edison in his post, because the impact of his game goes beyond just he stopping shots. It goes way, way beyond that. Now, so Andre Onana is suffering from that even extra loss of form, even without the fact that, even accepting the fact that he's not a wonderful shot stopper. Andre has never considered these kind of goals this much in his teams. So maybe is the fact that he has lost form. Maybe because opponents are seeing the frailties in his game and they're exploiting it. I don't think it's just because Inter Milan had the best defense or whatnot. I don't think that's the reason. I think that it's the two reasons I've mentioned just a while ago. So that's with him, right? So I think that you can't just chop and change and say, okay, the goalkeepers can sit somewhere, it's not good enough. No, you just have to produce an optimal environment in the team for Andre Onana to thrive. As it stands now, he's not thriving. And I think that the presence of Shaw, Malaysia, and then, of course, Leandro Martinez adds more from build-up to the Manchester United team. Now, Manchester United's press is one of the most disjointed press I've ever seen. A lot of the times, when big teams are pressing, they press very, very narrow inside so that their wingers will come and press one of the centre backs. It's done by almost everybody. Essentially, it's to prevent central progression. You prevent your opponent from playing through you, make it very difficult. You make the middle of the park a little bit more compact and prevent them from playing through you. That is brilliant. The problem for United is that anytime they do this, they tend to push up their fullback to the opposing fullback as well. So if you meet a goalkeeper that can just lob a ball over the press, they are in trouble. So it's disjoints. There are frailties in that Manchester United press. And you ask yourself, why is Erik ten Hag consistently going about it? Now, away from the press, Erik ten Hag has said in an interview that he wants his Manchester United team to be the best transition team in the world. And I think that is where he has issues in terms of even control, even apart from personnel. Why do you want your team to be the best transition team in the world, yet consistently you are always running? If you want to play against the best transition teams, it means that a lot of the teams who will leave space behind them, you want to exploit those space, or in turnovers, you want to exploit them. Great, that's fine. But because there's no control of this Manchester United team, consistently, United players are running almost 50 to 70 yards with the ball every time. It is helter-skelter every time, consistently. Now that affects the counter-pressing ability of the team, because who runs 50, 70 yards and still picks up the ball and can still go into a counter press? It's not possible. How to dissipate the energy and how to save some for the time where you have to dissipate is important. And these are the reasons why tempo controllers are so important in attack and in defense. Bruno Fernandes is somebody that's literally exacerbates Manchester United's issues. He's the one that wants always play the final ball. He doesn't care the volume. He consistently play it. But that's exactly why you need someone like Anthony next to him to be the tempo controller in attack. Yes, I understand. People say he's not giving us exactly what we want to get from him. He's not giving us what we get from other wingers, 1v1, creating, whatnot. Yes, that's fine. But he's a tempo controller in attack. He's not a 1v1 winger. He's not a wide monster. He's a Brazilian. But that doesn't mean that he's a Neymar or he's a Dembele. No, he's not that guy. He controls the tempo. You need that if you have Bruno Fernandes in the middle of the park as a number 10. Because if you don't control the tempo, the game is just too back and forth, more like a basketball football. Too back and forth. And if you also lack control, that's why your destroyers are getting into a lot of red card positions. Your destroyers are getting matched, and there's a lot of cards in there. That's the problem for Manchester United. Now, Marcus Rashford tends to go and play for the Three Lions. But anytime he comes to play for Manchester United, then there's trouble. I don't know why. Maybe it's time that Manchester United drop him and then start to play some of the young boys. It's important. But they have peppered over the cracks. Their problems are simple. It is the press that is non-existent. It's the fact that they lack control in central areas in the defense and even to a large extent in the attack. And I think that yes, Erik ten Hag is the one to blame for all of these things. But I don't think it's time to call for his sack. I don't think it's time to call for his sack. I think that you have to wait to get the full team ready. Malaysia, Shaw, and then Leandro Martinez, Mason Mount is back, Rafael Varane is back, Leandro Martinez may come later. You get all of these players back together, then you see how he starts the team, how he's going to play with Casemiro in the middle of the park with Amrabat. Then you can make a proper judgment of if Erik ten Hag can be the man to take Manchester United forward, or maybe he has just lost it. So yeah, that's the way the Manchester United conundrum. And I know this part will be unpopular. Very, very unpopular. But that is what it is. Yesterday's Chelsea draw against Arsenal is the fault of Robert Sanchez. It is his fault. But seriously, whilst that is his fault, has Sanchez put foot too wrong? Now, I remember when Robert Sanchez was coming, his data was not as good as Kepa. So I constantly said, how? Because I had not watched him so much. I constantly said, why are you going to get Robert Sanchez over Kepa? But with time, his performances have been brilliant, right? He has showed that he's a very good shot stopper. Very, very good shot stopper. In fact, very, very, very good shot stopper. One of the biggest problems that Chelsea had was the height of Kepa Arrizabalaga. And while people consistently said that he had issues to come into claim crosses, it was because he was so short that sometimes he knew that he can't get it. Also, his reach was very, very short. Players could just hit the ball from far with a lot of power, and then Kepa was in trouble. He will not get to it. So, Robert Sanchez at age 25 is about 6'5", which is very tall, taller than Edouard Mendy, who was 6'4". Kepa was around 6'2", 6'3". Very short for a goalkeeper. Now, in the post for them, brilliant because he's able to come and claim crosses. He's very dominant in his areas in that regard. And the fact that Kepa is leaving, possibly, you want somebody who has some experience here in the English Premier League. Now, you move away from that. And you see some of the biggest issues of Robert Sanchez is ball playing ability, where when plays against size that press high, he's a little bit jittery. That's true. That is very, very true. But if you look at the numbers as well, it is not that bad. Yes, he has these issues, but I think that it was the times where his confidence have gone low from sitting on the bench at Brighton, going to the reserves and whatnot. That has brought to this. With time, I think he's going to be that confident in times like this, and then he's going to grow into the game in that regard. So shot stopping, claiming of crosses, being a dominant figure at the back, the calm and composure at the back, and the experienced head in that Chelsea team seems to be good. In fact, there are times where Robert Sanchez goes down to his left or his right, and I ask myself, this goalkeeper is so good in that regard. So yes, he was at fault for yesterday, but I think he may be one of Chelsea's best signings. I don't know what you think. If you disagree with me, let me hear from you in the comment section. Now, just a second on Real Madrid. Madrid, brilliant. Yesterday, they drew against Sevilla. But it goes back to what I've consistently said about Madrid, that the issues of Jude Bellingham and then Madrid, they need to find a way to solve it. Because Jude isn't going to get Real Madrid consistent goals back to back to back to back. It is just not possible. In teams against Sevilla, Madrid are going to suffer if they are going to back their hopes consistently on Jude Bellingham. And Carlo Ancelotti needs to watch that, because it is not going to be easy. The season is a long one. Champions League, Spanish La Liga, injuries may come. He needs to find solutions. Of course, Carlo is an expert in finding solutions for such problems. So we'll wait to see how that goes. But hey, guys, thank you very, very much. Very much. Very much. I'm grateful for your time. Grateful for everything. Grateful for your support. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Do turn on notifications. And then I'll hear from you.